What's up, Fort Knox? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another week of content here on my channel. I'm so excited to be back here with you guys. As always, I hope that you had a great weekend and look forward to an amazing week. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do so right now so that you are updated on whenever I have new content on the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I heard about over the weekend or a little bit towards the end of last week. And it's something that is a little problematic going on in media, in the community, and in the trans community, in the heterosexual community. I want to talk about all of that. You guys know that I'm transgender, and I talk about being transgender and what it's like moving about the world, being transgender, and also what it's like, you know, being a transgender woman of color in America right now. And it is really an interesting conversation that I think needs to be had and is long overdue. I have talked before about how, you know, in the Black community, we are not always accepted, even when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, and also with, you know, cisgender heterosexual men and cisgender heterosexual women. And since it's Pride Month, this is an amazing time. It's an amazing time to have this kind of conversation. What triggered this for me was I heard a podcast or a snippet from a podcast that B Simone put up. I love B Simone. This is not an attack on her. I, you know, have like laughed at her jokes and all of that, but this was not a joking matter, nor was this in a joking context. A lot of you probably have heard about this already, about her bashing the trans community. I'm going to play a little snippet right now of that podcast just so you have context as to what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Girl, you can't do that shit. You done swiped up on a tranny. Yes, and you won't know until you're in the bedroom with them.
Bitch, I would know.
Well, I guess you're right.
I mean, but I
Atlanta
also
is just a mess.
Yeah. Atlanta, you would have.
Which I have nothing against the LGBT lettuce, bacon, tomato community. But I love all y'all. One of my best friends is a tranny, but she's honest and open. Like y'all, in Atlanta, it's the DL stuff that's the problem.
That is the huge.
I would actually go just say like
guys.
Now that like does it? Yeah. Okay, it's the DL.
It's the
yeah,
DL
it's not a problem at all.
No,
I have
but
friends are
it's the ones who are
transgender.
open
I have
about
friends that are gay. One of my best friends is
When
gay.
you say like, I want because see when I hear tranny, T-girl, whatever, I think chick with dick, right?
I mean, yeah,
because we're not gonna call a girl that's post-op tranny, right?
No.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying because like when you hear tranny, what do you think? Like underneath
a guy who's dressing like a girl. I know that's a cross-dresser, but the one who lives like a female.
But they taking hormones. They're trying to eventually change into a woman. Like a guy
Right,
that
but
has
are we-
breasts and freaking. You look like a woman, but you have a penis.
but still have a dick. Okay, so
Yeah.
not if you're
Not fully
post-op, then we're not using
No.
No, I feel the same way. That's why I'm asking. I
Okay,
just want to
okay.
make when you hear the word. I think the same thing.
So
I don't
wait,
think
let me ask
post-op.
you, so is Burruss, Caitlyn Jenner?
Bruce,
And he
What
still
is
has a
that?
penis, right?
yeah.
I thought
He's transgender.
I heard he got a.
Or
Is
trans.
he a tranny?
See, transsexual.
ask the internet.
Listen, transgendered means I'm now a man calling myself a woman. Transsexual, I think, means you got the sex change.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying?
She's
Asking
over
the
there
internet.
Google. What? She asking Google.
Because I think
it's tricky.
transgender is your different gender. Like
Transgender, unlike transsexual, is a term for people whose identity, expression,
Identity.
behavior,
Exactly.
in general
Okay.
sense
Exactly.
does not
So
conform to what
transsexual
they were born
changes
as.
the
Okay.
transsexual, you're changing the parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you thought?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you might have heard, this is problematic for several reasons. One, the, you know, slur of tranny. The word calling me that doesn't bother me at all. It's a problematic word, but like you're not gonna that doesn't bother me in the sense that you're gonna get a rise out of me just because you said that. It is an incorrect word to use, just like calling a black person the N-word. But you know, what is also problematic about this is this false narrative of that we have in the world right now that trans women are tricking people, or that we are, you know, that, you know, a passable trans woman exists basically to trick people. This is, you know, there are isolated incidences that has happened, but we're not walking around, you know, tricking people, like that is done. We're not hiding anymore. And every time a trans woman is killed, it's always like, what did she do? Or they like to trick people and all this stuff. And I'm going to be absolutely real with you guys, and this is not a dig at anybody who is transgender or anybody who is who was killed that's transgender at all. But if you look at the women who have been killed, they have not been the most passable women, or by beauty standards, or what the world thinks as passable women. So the fact that you try to say like, oh, he didn't know and that's why he killed her. No, that's not what is happening. And let's be clear. They love us just as much as they love y'all. Let's just be very clear. Not every heterosexual man loves a trans woman, but trust me, they are checking for us, and we don't have to trick anybody anymore. We're not hiding anymore, and they're after us. Trust, they are. So this whole thing about like they're tricking people and they're doing all this kind of thing, that is a narrative that just needs to be shut down. Number one. Number two, the other thing that I had a problem with, besides her using the tranny word, like that's not a word that you want to use to describe someone who is transgender. The fact that we have these heterosexual women, cisgender women, who are on a podcast trying to educate people as to what being transgender or transsexual or pre-op or post-op is, that's not for you to do. First of all, you got it wrong, number one. Number two, at least invite a trans woman to have, you say you have friends who are trans women, like invite them to be on this podcast with you or to come and clear up whatever. That would be great. And it would be wonderful to see going forward if they actually do that. That would be fantastic. But the other thing, she said, I have friends who are trans, who are trannies. Like I have friends who are trannies. That is literally the equivalent to a black person or a white person saying, oh, I have friends, insulting a black person, and then saying, oh, I have friends who are black people. That's the same thing. I have friends who are trans. So because you have friends who are transgender, it would be even more reason for you to be a little more educated in what's going on in the trans world, or what we are, how we operate, and what we're to be called. You would think that would make more sense. And I found it very disheartening as someone who has a lot of influence to put these narratives out here, one, and also to not have the correct verbiage to use, and then just at the end of all this say, well, I don't want to, disrespect anybody. I don't want to. You just did. It just, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but the fact that she said, she has friends who are transgender, like she should know, the correct usage and the correct words to say. And it's just something, and it's not just, and I don't, like I said, this is not just this is not an attack on B Simone, but it's something that happens especially in the black community with black cisgender heterosexual women, where it's this whole like thing where you think we're trying to either compete with you, or you think that we're trying to take your men, or we're trying to trick people or whatever. And I said in another video here on my channel that it is very important for all of us to band together. And, this whole thing that's happening with black trans women of color being disproportionately killed, that we need your help. We need everyone to band together. I love my cisgender heterosexual women, and a lot of you who follow me know that I love you guys. So when I say that we need all of you, we need everyone to break this whole cycle of this transphobia, and things like this just fuel transphobia, using the incorrect words, or, not educating yourself enough, or saying that we're tricking people, or that we're doing all this stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. I'm sorry. I got a note right here. But it just didn't sit well with me, hearing this and not saying something about it. I don't have any ill will towards her. I actually like the woman. When people were saying, recently she's been in the news with a lot of, controversy and things she said or things that she's put out. And, I don't believe in the whole cancel culture thing. I think we have to allow people to want to do better. But this podcast was pretty irresponsible, and I know that it reached a lot of people. And I don't like that there seems to be like this, recently in the last couple of years, this attack on trans women it's almost, it seems that as long as we were hidden, or as long as we were, you know, only exist in spaces that were LGBTQ or the ballroom scene or whatever, were in our own thing, that everybody was fine. And now all of a sudden, it's sort of like, now that we are in spaces that are mainstream and that we exist in places and we're no longer hiding and that we have representation, it's almost like, okay, now you guys aren't okay with us. I don't understand that, because you use our lingo, you take makeup tips from us, all of the stuff, you know. It's just an interesting thing that as long as we were there, you were okay. As long as we were those girls over there, you know, it was fine. And as long as we were a caricature or you could make fun of us, it was fine. But now that we're existing in spaces where we're mainstream and people, you know, respect us in ways that they didn't before, and we have rights that we didn't have before, it's almost like now we have a problem. I don't understand that. But there's, and I'm not saying that that's what happened in this podcast, but like it's another issue that's comes up a lot, and we are just we're not trying to be better than anybody. We're just trying to be, you know, respected in a way that, you know, we don't always feel respected. And I urge everyone who is, you know, not transgender to educate yourself on what it means to be transgender, or ask questions, you know, not disrespectful questions, but, and I know sometimes people feel like, well, I don't know what to ask or what to say or what, all that stuff, but it is very key that we are not putting out there, people who have influence are putting out their narratives that are not correct, and also that are dangerous and detrimental to, you know, trans women, because we're being attacked in ways physically and, you know, on social media in ways that we shouldn't be. And you know, I'll give you a prime example of that. I could do something that has absolutely nothing to do with me being, nothing to do with my transness. I'm on the shade room for my art, or I'm on other blogs or other things, like somebody posts me for my art, and the first thing they want to attack is the fact that I'm transgender. Oh, she's never going to be this, or she's never going to have, you know, she's never going to have a baby. She's not a real woman. She's not whatever. That had nothing to do with my art. It's just like I was posted for another reason. It just really makes no sense to me. And all we ask for is respect. We will respect you. You know, I have nothing against, you know, heterosexual cisgender women. I have nothing against cisgender women, period. My mother's obviously a cisgender woman. I grew up with sisters, and I have always, you know, been someone who has learned from and, you know, used cis women as aspiration. But we're not trying to take your place. We're not trying to be better than you. We're not trying to whatever. I am a transgender woman. That's what I'm always going to be. That's what I identify as. So it's a very interesting thing. But, you know, tell me what you guys think. You know, drop down in the comments, and I want to hear back from you. And this is just, like I said, an ongoing conversation that we will have here and there on my channel, in between other things and all the other fabulous content. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.